Hello, everyone, and welcome back to our 9-month trip around the world. And today we're in lovely Cartagena, Spain, where we take a food and cultural tour and just enjoy the sights of this charming Spanish town.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we are living that full life going all the way around the world for 9 months on the ultimate world cruise.
Oh, we sure are. And friends, today we're in Cartagena, Spain. Now, Cartagena is located on the southeast coast of Spain. And one thing you might find interesting is there are dozens of places around the world called Cartagena. And that comes from people who originally have lived in Cartagena and then have immigrated to other locations in the world, settled down, and named those places Cartagena.
Right. It's nice that they take their culture with them, and
did.
I think the world is richer for some of the things that came from this area of
Absolutely.
Spain. Yeah, absolutely. Well, the nice thing is our cruise ship docked right downtown.
It
I
did.
love these ports where the ship is right there. You just get off and you walk right into town. Makes it
nice.
so easy. It's really wonderful. And our guide met us right off the ship. Now, we took a private tour that was arranged through Shore Excursions Group, and it was called
A Taste of Cartagena. A Taste of Tapas in Cartagena.
Yes, it was. And it was very easy. It's a small group tour. There were 14 of us and a complete walking tour. So we walked from the dock where the ship was right through kind of the central, I'd say square. It's kind of the shoreline there. And there's lots of statues there that are honoring the sailors that have come in and out of here, because Cartagena was a major naval shipping port for Spain. In fact, there is a naval base still there in Cartagena that's up on the hill that you can see. And so, yeah, it's very historic, and the statues were really pretty cool. But speaking of that, this was also an area that was besieged many different times during civil wars, during wars with Spain. In fact, you can still see bullet holes in some of the...
That was from the Spanish Civil War.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly, down the main street. But all that's behind them, and we walked down that main central shopping area. It's really lovely, and we went to our first stop for some tapas.
It was Restaurant Bocateria, and this was a fun place. It was our first opportunity to try the Tinto de Verena, which is the summer wine.
Yeah.
It's half wine, half lemonade, and that's quite delicious.
Yeah, you might think of it a little bit like sangria, but it doesn't have all the fruit and those kinds of things. Doesn't add brandy. Very light, very refreshing. It's kind of like a wine spritzer that we'd
It
say
really
in the US.
is. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, but on a hot day,
I thought it was delicious.
oh, it was. And in fact, we ordered it several times at other places and kind of learned about these drinks around the world. And in fact, I think we're looking at making some shorts about drinks around the world. So keep an eye out for that as
That's
we do
right.
that. Yeah.
So what we had here were croquettes, and the croquettes were a ham and cheese croquette that was fried. Quite yummy.
It was. Yeah, they were really, really pretty good here. Enjoyed it a lot. We sat outdoors on a terrace and had a nice view and just enjoyed it. Yeah.
Well, we left Restaurant Bocateria and walked through town, and our guide was pointing out just different sites there. And one of the places that he showed us was the Roman theater. That was just fascinating.
It was an interesting history, long history. So this Roman theater was built back in about 5 BC, and it had sat and got covered and lost, and then they went to actually build a theater for the town of Cartagena. Well, guess what? They picked the exact spot that the Romans had picked for a theater, so obviously it must have been a good spot.
Location.
That's right, and they started excavating, and then they ended up finding the ruins of this theater under here. Now, also there had been a church that was built out of some of the ruins that was off to one side of that, and that church had been there for a couple of hundred years, if not longer, quite some time. And here what I think is the interesting part of those ruins were off to the side, and there was an older man who was living there in the ruins. And then they discovered all the forum ruins and everything, and the church got built there and all this. And he ended up just kind of getting pseudo permission. They just kind of let him stay living there because he'd lived there his whole life.
Squatters' rights.
That's right. He kind of had squatters' rights. And so he was allowed to continue to live there till he passed away about a decade or two ago. But I thought it was just an interesting story that he had lived there and was kind of the caretaker of this old church. And even while they're excavating all this. So they did find the Roman ruins in 1988. And you can now tour them. You can go in, go up and down. And it is a wonderful example of a Roman amphitheater. So that's a don't miss when you go here to Cartagena. I thought it was really good.
Our next location that we went to was La Fuente. That's the next restaurant, which that means the fountain. So there was a fountain that was on the corner of this street, and they just built the building around the fountain. The fountain is still inside the building.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and in fact, there was a patron that used to come here all the time, and he would belly up and have a drink at the bar and all that. And then eventually, he was older and passed away. Well, they have a bronze statue in La Fuente for this man, and you can come take his picture. It's a great way to remember a wonderful patron. But the food here was really good. In fact, I think the food kind of stepped up at each place that we went. So here we had some bruschetta. It was like a toasted bruschetta with a tuna spread with a strip of anchovy on it. Now, this may not be for everyone, especially if you don't like anchovies, but I loved it. I thought it was really
very good. We also had potato salad that had tuna in it as well, which was quite yummy.
Yep. And then we also had another
Tinto de Verona
with it. It was really good. And I actually also tried another vermouth on ice. Again, this was a wonderful drink. If you go back to day 2 in Barcelona that we discovered, that it was just wonderful, really good on a hot day, nice and refreshing and light. It's not as heavy as like a beer or something like that.
Right.
So, that stop was really good. And then as we're heading out, we went to the main square in the town.
Right, and in the main square, then there was a big, beautiful tree there. The square is surrounded with restaurants, so there's a lot of places to choose to eat from. Mm-hmm. And underneath the plaza, the square there, and the restaurants, there's tunnels or there's roads, old Roman roads, and some of them are identified by markers in the concrete.
Well, there on the plaza, we went to our next little cafe stop, and it has such a silly name, Beer Burger Plaza. It sounds like American. But they actually are known to have very good burgers. We talked to some people on the cruise ship that stopped here. They had a hamburger there, and it was really good. But we're here for tapas, and we're also here to try one of the most famous coffee drinks here in Cartagena, and that is the
Café Aristico.
That's right.
That's an interesting thing that the bottom has condensed milk, the middle layer is brandy, and then the top layer is coffee, and It was very good.
Yeah, it was. It's certainly worth giving it a try here. It's famous around town. Our guide had told us about it. And the other thing that we had here was called Brave potatoes. But they had a spicy, creamy sauce on the top. They were fried crispy. They were very good. So be sure to try the Brave potatoes, and they were really good here at Beer Burger Plaza. Well, that was the end of our tour. We ended here at the Beer Burger Plaza. And so then we wanted to go and catch a few of the things that we passed by, a couple things that we wanted to see. One of the things that we headed to was to see the Church of Santo Domingo. Mm-hmm. But here along the way, this is what we always say on the cruise. You never know what you're going to run into.
That's true. There were bagpipes that were playing. Little parade of bagpipes, and they were actually advertising a bar. They were handing out little pamphlets saying, come to our bar.
Yeah, later that night.
Right, and enjoy drinks and tapas there. And we didn't go there that night, but it was kind of fun to watch the bagpipes.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, well, then we went to the Church of Santo Domingo. It was absolutely gorgeous, especially the altar piece. Mm-hmm. The altar display was just quite amazing, stunning gold. It was certainly worth seeing. Be sure to stop by that church on the way. And then after that, we started wandering the streets, and we actually met up with some friends from the cruise ship.
back at the Beer Burger Plaza. They happened to be there. So we went back a second time.
Yeah.
And here this time we had empanadas and croquettes. And they were just delicious.
The empanada was one of the best empanadas I've had in my life. It was so good. It was crispy, but it had a great filling. It was really amazing. You had another Tinto de Verina. I got to say Tinto de Verina. I think I had a beer with a friend and a Spanish beer, and then just relaxed. And that, to me, that's our biggest recommendation for Cartagena. This is not a big tourist destination. Certainly go see the theater, the Roman theater. That's worth seeing. But it really is a great Spanish town to just sit back, find a cafe, get a drink, have some tapas, and just enjoy the day. This is a nice, relaxing town, and that's our recommendation here for Cartagena. Well, after enjoying our tapas with our friends, it was time to head back to the ship. We walked, and again, it's really nice because the ship is parked right almost downtown. And as we walked back, it was kind of a funny pirate display. They had these skeletons. Yeah, that was really neat. And we got back on the ship and just enjoyed the evening. The nice thing is we did have a couple of our Phase 2 flock come and say hi to us on board that have been watching our videos on the Ultimate World Cruise.
Oh, we're always tickled when you all say hello to us. That means a lot to us.
Yeah, we've had some people say, "Oh, we didn't know if we should say hello." Please do.
Yes.
Yeah, we love to say hi to people and share our adventures and share your adventures and hear your recommendations too. So don't ever be afraid. As one of our friends said, see us in the wild. If you see us, be sure to say hi.
See us in the wild.
Where are we going tomorrow, Nancy?
Well, we're going to Malaga, Spain.
Yeah, but not exactly Malaga.
Well, no, not exactly, but we do have a good tour planned.
It's really good. We go to the absolutely amazing, gorgeous, lots of adjectives you can put on this, Alhambra, Spain, and it is worth the drive. So I think you're really going to enjoy this one.
All right, friends, be sure to like, subscribe, turn on those notifications, and we will see you very soon. Have a beautiful day.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.